Hey guys, welcome to another episode of
Discovering Our Journey.
I'm your host MC.
And I'm JC. Man, and this week, not just this week, I mean, it's been a couple weeks now. I have been going through grief. You know, we just experienced a loss. Have you ever experienced a loss?
Yes, definitely cousin when I was younger. We're kind of close when we were kids, so it wasn't throughout. Grandmother, of course, which was almost like my second mother, so she raised my grandmother, raised me pretty much, with my mom. And of course my brother. That was the toughie.
Oh, brothers are very close. See, and I've lost two grandparents and stuff, and I don't remember before my grandma like anyone too close. So this one has hit me quite hard. But I'm noticing that it's something that you go through with so many emotions. You know, I went through sadness, confusion, even anger.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like especially when they're, what you feel is before their time, right?
Yeah.
Because we're always never ready, but we do feel that there's something, as far as time wise. So with my grandmother, believe it or not, I thought I was literally going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
I thought that, when my grandmother, passed away, she'd always tell me she was the type of like, as soon as you get married and you're good, I'm out of here. And I'm like, whatever, grandma, you're gonna be old, and I'm gonna be going like this with oatmeal and wiping. She's like, she's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna wheel you around. Estás loco tú, you're gonna. And my grandmother would always be like, nope. As soon as you're married, that's it. I'm out. That's it. My job is done here on earth. You were the last one, and I'm like, whatever, grandma. You can be all old. I gotta clean your baba and stuff. And she would get mad when I'd say stuff like that because she was very independent. I mean, till the day she passed, she was 75, high heels, very well dressed, never took out the trash. When my wife would come over and for whatever reason she wasn't ready, she'd shut the door on her and go fix her hair and everything and then open the door back up.
Wow, so vanity was a big thing for her.
She never went outside, nothing like that. So she'd get mad at me. Why didn't you tell me she was coming? Why didn't you say she was coming?
Yeah.
So when she passed, I thought my world, mentally, I felt like my world was going to end. Like I was so scared. Like I was like, I can't, and especially when we knew, we only had 2 months.
Yeah. But she was sick and then.
She had cancer, didn't tell nobody for a whole year. And when it happened, you know what? There was a peace in me that I never thought I'd have. I mean, of course I was super sad, but it wasn't like the God, why? It was like she prepared me. She's always been so loving, so understanding of God, had God, Dios me va a llevar, so it was one of those things where it's like, I guess she was preparing me, and so I was ready. So it wasn't as hard as a hit as I thought it was going to be.
I really think, and because I found it really odd the way my daughter was taking it and my son. I thought that they would be falling a lot more apart. But, I noticed after just kind of, how you reevaluate things, you're walking through things and you're like, no, it could have been this, no, this. Like, so out of all those thoughts that were coming into my mind, I think what's helped is that I've always told them that what lives must die. And when it was time for them to grow up past like the whole Santa Claus isn't real kind of deal, like I remember my son, he was like, Mom, is Santa Claus real? And I was like, ooh.
How old was he?
He was like 9, 10. And so I was just like, do you want to know the truth? And I think he knew from that. And he was just like, and he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, okay, well, it will take the magic from it. We make the magic for it. So do you want to know the truth? And I think with that, he totally like understood. I didn't want to tell him, but I didn't want to not tell him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my daughter, when she came and she was going through that, I pretty much told her the same thing. Because her brother was already telling her. Her brother already ruined it for her. Like brothers do. Yeah, right? Obnoxious brothers.
Hey, my mom was a photographer. So for my brothers, I feel bad because they didn't really grow up as Santa Claus because I would dress up as Santa Claus.
That's cute.
So my brothers would go to the mall and be like, oh, huh? And they point and think that it's me and sit up there.
That's cute.
So I never realized that they never really believed in Santa Claus, so they thought I was Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, but so the passing away happened and everything, and I also before that too, when their pets would die, we would also acknowledge them. We would say, you know what, we overfed them or we underfed them, like whatever the scenario was, or, you know, if even if they were old, you know, we would cry together. And I think that would honor that we had them. It's not that we were trying to run from the situation. I think that I was showing them that we had it, we knew it, and the moment was gone. Yeah. You know, and so you don't just like put a board over it, how I felt my parents did, you know, in a lot of little situations that maybe they thought were insignificant, but it was significant to me. And I wanted to make sure that my kids were very aware of it. So when the passing happened, and it was tragic, we went over to the beach and we got balloons and we pretty much, you know, I told them, I said, you know, speak the life that was given to you with peace, to the water, to the sky, to everything, you know, and if you're holding on to any anger or resentment or things that were not done, right, when he was alive, say it, you know. And so it was beautiful because we let it go. And I think that has caused a lot more healing for her. What do you think when you lost your brother, especially your brother? That's huge.
Yeah, that was a toughie. Again, we don't know when, but of course we're always, especially young. He was 24 years old. So, by all standards, that's pretty young. Yeah. And I feel like he was barely living his life and trying to figure it out. So it's like, it kills me. It kills me.
Especially when they're young.
Yes. And then the worst part, it wasn't like it was an illness. It wasn't like it was something like something that happened. I mean, he was just suffering through a lot of, a mental state, things that, a lot of us don't like to talk about. And he was going through stuff. And some of my brothers were in denial. Family was in denial that, it was, that it was that bad. But then again, there's the line, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to accept that something's going on, so you try not to do so many moves. I was like, dude, there's something wrong. We gotta go send him somewhere. He needs some help. And they were like looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what do you mean? We all go through depression. I'm like, no, This is a little bit more. But where do you draw? I get it. Where do you draw the line?
But we can't do the shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
No.
Once it's done, it's like it's done.
I'm talking to the people that are going through this. Yeah. Right that have a loved one maybe that is going through something. Yeah. And I know you don't want to think. I don't think it's the thinking the worst, because my brother's like, he's going to be fine. I've hated life and I've said, I don't want to be here and stuff. Just because he says it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm like, yeah, but there's something more in there. And they didn't want to accept it because I think it was more of a protection for themselves.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to think that something could happen to their sibling or their son or whatever it is. So it's like, it's kind of hard to draw the line.
Yeah.
And then that sometimes can create resentment later.
Yes.
And that's another issue where it's like, if you feel it, it's always better to do something. Do whatever you feel like you have to do.
Yeah, but but it's still up to that person. Remember, like, you can always lead a horse to water. Yeah. You can't make him drink, that's just what it is.
And trust me, in my situation with my brother, he wanted me to help him. He wanted me to send him away somewhere where they would take care of him. So but my brothers were thinking I was convincing him maybe, that he needed that. And
that's the difference. There's like guidance. There's that word guidance, and there's people that are like, no, you're controlling him, and you're like,
Now I will tell you one thing with the whole you shoulda, coulda, woulda is I was very angry when my grandmother passed away at a family friend, because the family friend knew for a year that she was sick. They had cancer.
But she told them not to say anything.
My grandmother told her.
Can't do anything.
Well, see, again, at first expectation, I was mad. Yeah. I was like, what the heck? Yeah. I was mad at her. I told her how I felt.
And you started blaming the other person.
And it's unfortunate because it was emotional.
Yeah.
Once I came to my senses and I really put it in perspective, I'm like, if I would have found out a year ago, how would that year have been? Struggling with my grandmother, trying to make her go to a doctor to go get chemo or something that I know she wouldn't want to do.
Mm-hmm. That's so hard.
So I was like, you know what? I'm sorry I was upset at you. You were every right to keep it from us. My grandmother trusted you. I appreciate that you were there for her, and that was it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? I would have fought that whole year with her, trying to go, Grandma, you need to go to chemo. And she's like, that's loco. And, then what? Would have been mad for that whole year.
See, but that's how I feel like I would be with my kids too. I don't ever want them to run with fear. Yeah. And so I think I would keep it away from them.
Yeah.
I think that's what a mature person does, is that they know their own wishes, and they know your love is so intense that it's like, I'd rather not.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's scary
It's
when
tough.
we know, we go through stuff. I feel like my father-in-law, he's kind of like that a little bit. Like he keeps it to himself when he gets, we went off on
So
vacation.
without looking, you're like,
I'm like, no,
listening to his heart,
we're always
watching
like,
his breath.
we're always like, where are you going? How's the doctor visit? So we took off to Hawaii and stuff like that, and we come back and we find out he had a broken toe. He fell out of our house, and this and that, trying to take care of the dogs and everything. Didn't want to tell us. And
He's
we
trying
went
to
on
play
a
it
trip.
off. Yeah.
Yes, and of course and it's like, what the doctor say? No, fue el doctor. It's like, what do you mean? After you broke your and again, so that's the worst part. It's like they're stubborn. They don't say nothing, and they keep it from you.
But it's their life. It's our life. It's my life.
I know.
If I felt like my husband couldn't handle something, I probably would keep it from him too.
Okay. Now here's the twist, though, right? Here's the hypocrisitic twist. If your kids were to do that to you and not tell you, then what are you going to do?
I wouldn't do much.
Okay.
Well, I already told my kids.
No.
I already told my kids. I said, you know what? I love you, but there's a certain like, hey, speaking of that, you know what? If someone would have told me what I just learned recently, a good friend of mine was sitting down with me and talking to me about just life in general. Kathleen, gotta throw her name out there. She was so amazing because she was like, you know what I realized? If I can share any information of wisdom to another parent, especially because like we are very close, like in like our children and what's happening and all this stuff. But she was like, between the ages of 14 and 16, you're done parenting, depending on their maturity. That's why I said 14 and 16. Depending on their maturity, they already know what you're going to say, what you're going to do, how you're going to react. That's why secrets happen. But like once that age happens where you want to just be there as their mentor, their teacher, their love, you're guiding them now. They know better. And they're going to tell you the truth when they're ready to tell you the truth. They're going to open up.
So my question to you is, and this is what I asked my father-in-law, is, well, if something were to happen to your daughter, then I shouldn't tell you. No, you got to tell me. It's like, well, how can you be? So you can't say you want me to tell you, but you don't want to tell us.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. I know that's like, well, it's just kids. Okay, you're the parent though, but we love each other just the same. I mean, so you can't be like, I'm not going to tell you, but then you don't tell us.
That's right. It's so hard, but we got to respect and love each other.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you love someone so much, you're going to go to them and let them know. Okay. And depending on where you're at, you're going to know. And like you said, sometimes we don't want to know. We're in denial. It just makes us feel better. But at the end of the day, you know where you stand because it's going to come to you.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So one thing I love about the Bible and about having faith, I think that I couldn't have been so strong without God. I couldn't. Not in this situation, not in what's happening and how close it is to home. I couldn't have done it without faith because I feel like crying every time,
No, I know.
I've gotten silent. It was really hard to actually do this podcast today because of just all the emotions and everything. But I'm here because I know someone else has been hurting through this before. And it's not like, the world doesn't stop.
No.
But you do have to learn to deal with it. So the Bible does say that to everything, there's a season in Ecclesiastes. So there's a time to cry, and that's okay, And then it also talks about blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted, which is God's promise to comfort us when we're sad. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then also the Lord is nigh unto them that are of broken heart, which is in Psalms, which is God is close to you when your heart is hurting. So, read the word. It is beautiful. But you as a person that's gone through it, me not so much. How would you give me the advice of like what steps to take?
Just really sit back and understand. Really go over it. It's going to take like I said, the first instinct is going to be emotion. So you're not going to care what it is.
Yeah.
You're going to, to the point where, we've talked about it before. We question God. Why? Again, I say my brother's too young, but you know what? Maybe I do sometimes realize how he was, and it's like he never understood the world sometimes, and he always questioned, why do people got to be like this, and why do they got to be so selfish, and why do they, so it's like maybe the world wasn't ready for him, It's like, so you can't sit there, and again, it's okay to question, it's okay to get mad. It's just one of those things where you go through in life. It's like the little processes, right?
Yeah.
You get angry, and you get sad, then you question, and it's like,
So allow yourself to heal.
Allow yourself to go through the processes, all the emotions, all the feelings and stuff like that. And then just realize it. Like I said, I told my friend, my grandmother's friend, I'm so sorry I was upset at you that you didn't tell us.
I bet that was hard.
Yeah, it was a lot easier. No, she was a good friend, and that's the thing, so it's not like she held. I mean, she understood that, it's like she knew that my grandmother was my everything.
Mm.
So,
and one thing I have felt that has been very soothing is just talking about it to God. I'm praying and just letting Him have it, because there are some things that I knew, like you said, that there's some things that
yeah.
and I can't. It's out of my control now, especially now. But you got to let it go. And it's for myself at this point. So
Yeah.
and then I know I was telling my daughter that she needs to take her time. There is no real time to get over it, but it's okay to not feel rushed. And it's okay to feel like every now and again. I know that she's going to feel the void. The calls are going to be less, when we're celebrating like the holidays that are coming up, we're going to have to find a way to not ignore, right?
Just incorporate,
Right, but just find new ways to like honor like things, and when memories come up, I want to validate all of them. I tell my kids, let's talk about those. Hey, remember when he used to, let's talk about them. It'll be funny. Some will be sad.
There's some things that you mentioned that, and there's things that we do sometimes during Christmas, Thanksgiving and stuff, and we all get together as a family. We'll have my brother-in-law's picture and my brother's picture at the table with us.
Oh, my husband. Okay, his family is so awesome. I love his family. His grandma is just so like about family.
Yeah.
She has a whole tree. Everyone has made their own ornaments. They have one for everyone who has passed away. All the family friends that have passed away, one tree specifically for them, and their regular tree for themselves. So it's like, what an honor to be able to like remember. Oh, Charlie. Yeah,
Yeah.
His favorite, sport, and their little esfera is like right there for them. It's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
I really need to start incorporating that into our family.
Yeah. Just, having those memories that just not forgotten, and, relate those and even talk about them, That's the way. Don't forget, talk about the good times. Oh, man, remember that Christmas he was here? Remember that, whatever.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And it almost reminded me, because this is like, again, this is so close to home for the first time for me.
Yeah.
Just today, when I was just kind of going through a lot of silent moments, I started noticing that, when we go through like the brush fires and stuff in our area, those things that die when the rains come in and everything, like beauty starts to form around it again. So like, I just felt like, what, it's going to be okay. Sometimes our worlds get rocked like this, but like, if we just keep living without ignoring it. I think that's what some people do, is that some people ignore it and bury it. And I think that's where the people like me have a problem with it, because we need to talk about it and let it go in a healthy way.
Yeah. Like I said, and understand it to where, the basics of it, because you will never going to understand 100%, but just understand that it is what it is, like we say, right? God's will. I mean, the only thing in this life is for sure is that we're going to die.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Yeah. That's the only assurance that we have in this world.
Yeah.
And we don't know, but the point is that we're all gonna die. That's for sure.
That's why we gotta live every day like it's your last day. And I know it's so cliche to say it, right? It's like, oh yeah. But it's like, you can't live with so much anger in your heart. Dude, forgive them.
Okay, this is what I say. I don't, I think that's just too broad to live every day like it was your last day. But you know what? Start working on living your life without any kind of regrets. With my grandmother, I spent so much time with her, so much, and same thing with my brother. He lived with us twice in my life. He's the only one of the three brothers I have that lived with me twice in my life. I did everything I could for him. So in that aspect, I felt like, it was like a child of mine. I mean, we have a 16-year age gap. So when he was in high school, 14, I was 30.
But just that moment of you guys living together, I can only imagine how much more you guys got.
So we're talking about girls. We're talking about, this and that. I said, hey, it's like, you got a cell phone? He's like, you want a cell phone or you want a TV in your room? And he's like, I don't got no one to call. I was like, yeah, I mean, this was back in the day. So it's like, cell phones were barely being a thing.
Oh.
But, he was such an awesome, good hearted person. And the thing is that let's not live our lives with those brothers. Right now, I'm not as close to my other brothers as I wish. But
Yeah.
we're working on it. Like this year, we just went fishing the other day, night fishing and stuff.
Oh, that's so much fun.
So we're really trying to build that bond with us
and memories,
to have memories and stuff like that. That's where I think it is. So there's no regrets.
That's it.
Because again, you're never going to be able to do everything. You're never going to, and you can find regrets no matter what. But you know what? Find memories.
Yes.
Find memories to be with the ones that you love. A little text. Go and surprise them with something. Go out and have a cup of coffee. Whatever it is, anything that you can. Work on it, because again, you realize that instead of worrying about the regrets, you start to appreciate those times, and don't be like, I wish I could have.
Yeah, because that's what I found myself doing when I first heard the news. I was like, but I just saw him yesterday. I just said bye to him yesterday. It was so crazy.
You should have talked to him a little bit more.
Yeah,
I know.
Oh, it's so much guilt was going in my heart. I don't want to think about that.
I got you. It's like you're like, man, I should have had like a deeper conversation. I should have just been like, how's your day? And when's the last time I asked him how his day was or something like that? Trust me, I got you, girl. It's one of those things. We're gonna do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
So you know what? We are, because it's in our nature. We just look to we always look to what ifs. So let's create more what was and stop worrying about the what ifs, because the what ifs will always be there.
Yeah.
What ifs will always be there.
Yeah, but I think this is a big reason why the Bible talks so much about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, because if you forgive in your heart, like there's no reason why those should hold on. And there's a little bit of things that I started noticing that it was, I mean, I forgave him, but I was holding it too, because why would I have such a hard time to let him go? There was something in me.
And you said something that's really important, and it goes for any kind of relationship, right? Yeah. Exes, friends, especially when you have kids, you got to stay together in a sense because of your boy or girl. Siblings, sometimes, and this is what's tough, guys, sometimes it is so much easier to be upset than it is to be sad that they're not there. Mm-hmm. So we have to take each opportunity that there is to try to be there for each other, because you start to think about, why don't I talk to him or her anymore? Or why aren't we so close? It's like, he did this or she did this or whatever it is. Is it really worth that anger?
Yeah.
Because that means if you have that much anger, that just means that you have that much heart and you just don't want to open it up. And like you said, forgive and just say, you know what, let's start anew, because it's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late to start. And it takes just as much effort to be angry as it is to be happy. And the thing is, it starts with forgiving and opening your heart with that sadness, because, it's all that time lost. Yeah. It could be years, it could be months, it could be decades, that we don't forgive.
Yeah.
And we're angry. Because that's usually where it comes from. It's anger. That's why we don't forgive, because we're angry.
Absolutely.
It's just a lot easier, because angry hurts. Anger is only directed one way, right? Yes. You're angry at that person. Yes, but that person, it was you. You didn't show up. You didn't call me. You didn't this. You weren't there for me when I needed you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All this stuff. You're just pointing the finger like this, right?
Yeah.
So it's so easy to do that, because the person's not here. First of all, you're just like, you. Yeah. But the problem is that once you open up and says, man, I miss you. Oh God! Now it's like now it comes back to you. I miss you.
Yeah.
So if you're that angry with someone, is it because you miss them and you really want them to live your life? Because if they didn't care, you technically wouldn't be angry. You'd just be like, whatever. You would be whatever.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have do you have whatevers in your life that you're like, oh, I don't even know about that person. So you're not angry at that person. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, it's so difficult. It's so difficult, but it did give me a total change in my mind. Like you said, those whatever. That's fine you said that, because I started to think about those people that I know that I just like, I've created boundaries, and I'm just like, you know
walls.
what? I got to call them.
Walls.
The walls.
Yeah, the walls.
And time heals all. There's no reason why I should keep them in the whatever pile. I should be able to be like, you know what? Time is so short. And I don't want you to be that person that just said bye, and what could have been more than that, I don't want that no more.
Like I said, especially if the more anger you have, it's still emotion. So that anger comes from somewhere because your heart is broken somehow.
Yeah.
So it comes again. It starts with love, but we get angry and we block that love with anger. So much easier than to point the finger at someone else than to realize how much it hurts you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll see as we go, because, as the birthdays come and the holidays come, it's going to get harder and stronger.
Yeah.
But I know that as I keep my circle of friends and love and family who I can kind of like talk to, that I know won't like just be like, okay, get over it already. I know I'm going to feel better. I really do. And, yeah, it's just not easy. If you guys have had someone that you've lost, please share how we can, navigate through this hard time.
Yeah, definitely. Navigating through this is a process.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I've been reading up on things to help us go. God has been at my center. I've been trying to distract the kids. And then anytime I can, I'll try to strike up a good memory. Everything of value. Right now, I'm trying to pull everything of value that I can to remember. And this Christmas, I'm hoping that maybe we can go through some pictures, to kind of honor all the time that we spent together.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can get some of the pictures, the Christmases past, and kind of make yourself like a little reel or something. Like get the pictures and put them all like on a digital
That'd
thing.
be cute.
And it's like, Christmas memories, and then just like the different ones and stuff like that, and put them all together and stuff. Scan the pictures and put them all on. It's all digital now, so it's a lot easier to, download the file and just watch it.
Yeah, and then and I also need to work on forgiving myself with my attitude, that sometimes I would say things or do things depending on how he would respond to me. So I'm still working through it. But I know with lots of love and lots of family, we're going to be good.
Yeah, that definitely is another topic right there. What people make us do, quote unquote.
Oh, I mean, do they really make us do anything?
I know.
Right?
Like you said, how he responded made me, okay.
Yeah, you heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. I was like, all right, that's going to be the topic for the next time.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. Well, no one makes you do anything, but it would drive me crazy, and so I would react in ways. Right?
React, got it. Okay, we're changing words around.
First of all,
his action would make me reaction. All right.
There you go. I'm an emotional being. I'm a girl. That's our job. That's our job. But more than anything, girls, we need to remember that our biggest job, I think, is to pray for those hard-headed people who we have to navigate and be with in this world. Because we never know. We never know when the time is going to be. Exactly. But yeah, peace and love, right?
Definitely. I mean, everyone always says it, right? Don't wait till it's too late, right? People always say, don't wait till it's too late. And sometimes it's harder. It's easier said than done. But I challenge you guys to, if you can't reach out to someone, write that person a little note. Write that person a letter. And you know what? Maybe you don't give it to them, but you put it in a box somewhere. Put it in a box. Say, hey, I forgive you. Or maybe you're the one that feels like you need to be forgiven, or whatever it is. Write that person something. And it doesn't, like I said, you don't have to give it to them. You don't have to read them. I mean, if you take that step, that's awesome for you. Yeah. But you know what? Put it in a box. What hurts you, what you would want to say to this person. And like I said, just take that step to write it down. So, you write it with your heart.
Absolutely. Because there's no growth
without pain.
Until next time.